Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Now, on to today's story. My mom cheated on my dad. Recently discovered my mom cheated on my dad with her now husband. My parents divorced when I was 4 years old. They had 2 kids, my older sister and me. My dad had said she had cheated in passing with her now husband when I was in high school, but being a teenager and not understanding much about infidelity, I didn't really pay attention to what he said. My dad died when I was 28 years, a couple years ago. He never found anyone after my mom. In fact, although he had his own business and loved my sister and I, he always seemed so lost. I used to think that's just how he was, until I learned about the affair this year. My mom used to badmouth my dad growing up, saying he was abusive. She also got with her now husband the same year my parents separated, but me being so young at the time, had no idea what was going on. Anyway, I guess I'm just so heartbroken for my dad. He wasn't lost like I always thought, or maybe him being lost was one of the impacts of my mom's infidelity. What he really was, though, was walking around with a broken heart. That just kills me. He even said when he died, "I ruined my marriage," with tears going down his face. I should have figured it out sooner, but I didn't. It was my mom who did all the bad mouthing, not him. In fact, he would address her as your mother, but she would only call him by his first name and would address her now husband to my sister and I as your dad. How messed up is that? I should have known. I wish I could hug my dad and tell him it wasn't his fault, that cheating is selfish, and if she was unhappy she could have just left him without having to sleep with another guy. I've been cheated on before and I know how excruciating it is. I will never understand why people do such a painful thing to someone they say they love. I will never look at or feel the same about my mother again. The same goes for her husband. He moved in on my mom and contributed to hurting my dad, and now me too. I really want nothing to do with either of them. They don't know I figured it out, and I'll never tell them. They don't deserve to know why I'm going to distance myself from them moving forward. I'm writing this here because I can't tell anyone. To tell you all, cheating breaks your kids' hearts too. My dad was my best friend and I miss him terribly every day. Now I know he was the strongest man I've ever met. He kept this pain from my sister and me our whole lives and never tried to get back at them ever. Yet my mom and her husband have walked around with this dirty secret, pretending they are soulmates. No, not soulmates to me, they are evil human beings. My dad may have never found anyone, but I loved him so much and he is forever my hero. Strongest heart I've ever seen, and I didn't even know it at the time. Edit, spelling. My father is 85. Last year I was able to sit down with him and talk about it. I told him he was a good man and he had been wronged. He cried. We have been extremely close since then. He really needed to hear that, I'm sure. I'm happy you have each other. This fills my heart with nothing but happiness. Good for you. There is probably no way to describe how happy he was to hear that. Thank you for your kindness. My bond with my dad was formed when he was in his late 70s. Apparently this is not uncommon. I'm not typically an emotional guy, but this brought a tear to my eye. He knows how you feel about it, I promise. I hope so. He was such an amazing guy. I'm sorry this made you emotional. I hope you're right and he knows how I feel and that it wasn't his fault. Was beautiful to see a person feel for the right thing. My mother also cheated on my father and saw what it did to him. I was 12 and was forced with the decision of what was right and wrong about the 2 people I love the most. They worked through it but still had a horrible impact on all our lives. Thank you for sharing. I'm so sorry you were faced with such a terrible thing so young. How do you see your mother now that it's been some years? My father passed away in 2007. My mother is still living and I love her. She made a mistake, it's something she regrets. I've forgiven her. I'm sorry he's not here anymore. Thank you for sharing about your relationship with your mom now. Cheating is common. It's wrong when you enter into an agreement with someone you love. It should be honored or separate. Wrong can't be undone. It's up to you rather to forgive or not. Follow your heart and what your father would want. He knows the love you have for him, and that's the most important thing of all. Best wishes, friend, hugging face. I'm glad that you figured out that your dad was an honorable man. And no doubt, your mom's bad-mouthing of your dad wasn't to relieve her guilty, but to justify and condone her cheating in her mind. She and her AP rewrote their history to you and your sister. It is karma that you have discovered the truth and now want to distance yourself from two cheaters who broke your father's spirit and took his kids. When she is on her deathbed, she will not have regret about what she did to your father. That's exactly what she wanted, to rewrite history and control the narrative. Someone told me once, when I was cheated on, that the truth always come out about cheating. I didn't fully understand that until now. My mom probably thought she got off free once my dad had passed away. She just disgusts me. Why not tell her what you know? Tell her why you'll fade away. Maybe she'll feel some pain she deserves? I guess because she has spent pretty much my whole life lying to me and let my dad die without saying a word. That is just so cruel. I'm so incredibly upset that she let this happen. I can't comprehend ever having a conversation with her again. She robbed me of a conversation I would have liked to have had with my dad before he died. I hate her. I with you up on not telling her or confronting her. Just slowly fade away. You don't know how much it will be painful to her to not know what and why you did that. She lied to you your whole life, and for what? Just to ease some gullet in her mind. She also manpiloted you and your sister for way too long, but it's nice to see that you have grown into your own person. I'm curious, how did you find out that she cheated? And did you tell your sister? Does she know what you know? She deserved to know, in my opinion. But that is up to you. Stay strong up. You now know the truth. Finding out the truth is only the half of it. It's what you do with that matters. Hope you all the best. Smile. My mom helps my sister pay some of her monthly bills, so I think if I told her, she'd want to ignore it. I may have to consider it at some point, but for now I don't know how to handle it. I actually found out from my mom, but she doesn't know that. I overheard a conversation she was having with a co-worker of hers, basically telling her co-worker she cheated on my dad and married her now husband. I did some research on timelines of things and found out when my mom started working for her now husband, and that's when the affair started. He was her boss, which I didn't know. I called my grandmother, my dad's mom, and she confirmed it. Did your sister and father work close? And if that, she would be hurt as much as you. But yeah, if she helps her with bills, that will be a factor. But it is strange and weird that she would discuss her cheating and her leaving her husband to be with AP, now husband. I mean, how do that topic came up? Cheaters always surprise me with their behavior. Anyway, sorry for rambling. Stay strong, keep your head up. They were not close, but she should know. I just worry I'd be putting her in a tough financial situation. My sister isn't financially independent like I am, so it's tough. The topic came up with her co-worker because her co-worker's brother left his wife for another woman, from what I heard. It seemed like my mom was trying to justify people do that all the time. She didn't know I could hear them. I went to her work to bring her lunch when this happened. So very painful. I am sorry for this terrible revelation. Cheaters just have no idea, or maybe they do and don't care, of the fault lines of fractured relationships that can literally move through generations of family members. Tragic. I affirm distancing. It'll give you the space to deal and help avoid triggers. I'd also encourage therapy for you to help navigate what you're going through. Really focus on bettering yourself and healing up. Do it in your dad's honor and in memory of the good things he left in your life as a legacy. Good luck, Hop. Healing and strength to you. Thank you for your suggestions. I want to be strong like my dad and make him proud, so I'm definitely going to seek therapy. I just want nothing to do with my mom and her husband. They let my dad die with this horrible secret. He didn't deserve that. I will never forgive them for this. I want to be strong like my dad and make him proud, so I'm definitely going to seek therapy. Good man. Worthy goals indeed. Gently, here's one thought I'd encourage you to ponder. Beware bitterness and hatred. It's like acid that eats your soul over time. The tendrils of both will worm their way into areas of your life that you are not aware of and can adversely affect your other relationships, both present and future. Rather than getting hot with anger, make it your goal to get cold with indifference. It's better for you and more impactful on the situation. BTW, forgiveness, emo can only be given if requested, and it doesn't look like that's gonna happen, so it's a non-issue. Keep moving forward. Get good coping tools in therapy. I'd appreciate an update when you're further down the road. Strength, healing, determination and clarity to you up. I have a good feeling that you are gonna make your dad very proud. I know hate and anger are a burden my dad wouldn't want for me, but it's why I've decided to distance myself. I want no part of what they've done in my life. I can't fathom having to ever look at them again. Thank you for taking the time to give me some kind words. It means a lot to me. I will try to come back and update. You have no idea how strong you are, girl. Smile. You've made internet strangers proud with your words. Grow up to be a wonderful person like your father and live with him in your mind. Will she expect you to visit during the upcoming holidays? She always spends the holidays with her husband and his family. She mentioned maybe doing something for Christmas this year, but nothing was official. I moved far away for my work and have spent the last 2 holiday seasons on my own. The first one after my dad died because I didn't want to celebrate anything, and the second on my own due to COVID. Thank you for updating. I always visit my folks' gravesite whenever I'm back in my hometown, especially at Christmas. Best wishes to you. I could do that and bring him a small Christmas tree. Thank you for the idea. That's the reason I stopped talking to my father and didn't go to his funeral. He cheated on my mother and left her with 2 kids. I talked to him one time before his death 3 years prior because my grandmother passed, but that was it. I threw up when I found out. I wish she wasn't my mother. I don't blame you for not wanting your father in your life anymore. I feel the same way to my core. My moral compass, I couldn't bring myself to have a 50-50 relationship between them, knowing what one parent did to the other. Not sure how some are able to do it, but I can't. I don't regret not speaking to my father either or not going to his funeral. It's funny, people in the adultery community have no clue how their spouse or their kids will react, yet do it anyway. I believe in consequences, and my father's was to lose a son and daughter. I don't think I will regret it either. To betray your spouse and your children? These people are monsters. My heart isn't built to understand that. I am in a similar situation, but my father told me by accident and my mother does not know that I know. The problem is that I live with her and her husband. I do want to tell her that I know, but I will do it when she lives alone and she can cut both of them out of my life. I never got along with that man and I have never felt comfortable in my home because of him. Also that he has caused enough suffering, so I will wait to do it. I'll tell her, because if I don't tell her she'll think it's anything but her cheating, and it's not like that. She has to know that this is cheating. I'm so sorry you are going through this. I definitely would have said something to my mom if my dad were still alive today, but now it's too late. I hope your dad is doing okay. My dad is fine, I guess. We don't talk much, but we don't get on badly. If your mom asks you why you are distancing, if she realizes it, what will you say to her? She will try to go through my sister is my best guess. If she shows up at my place, I may have to tell her I know the truth and to stay the hell away from me. I honestly don't know, this is the best I have right now. Well, she won't think of what she did to your father if you don't tell her. So he probably thought it was because of something else. You should tell her the moment your sister is no longer dependent on her, and if your sister wants hers, they can cut off her life at the same time. Will you update if something happens? Yes, I will try and update. Thank you for your thoughts on this. Yes, and thanks to you for sharing it. At least I know that I am not the only one in this situation. I felt humiliated when I found out and betrayed by my mother. Not only because of what she did to my father, but I couldn't understand how he makes me live and suffer so much with the person who destroyed my family and made me suffer. There was never physical abuse, but he did make me do extra things and other things that didn't make sense. I know exactly how you feel, and I hope one day you can move out and be away from it all. Maybe talk to your dad about it someday. It's not something I got to do, but I would have liked to do. I'm very sorry you have to live with her still. Get out of there the first chance you get. I don't know if I want to talk about it with my father. There are things I want to know, but I don't want to ask, and I don't want to break in front of him. The time I found out, I could hardly hold it and I almost broke down in front of him. It was when I was alone that I could just let go and leave everything out. And I don't think he can move anytime soon. I'm in college and I barely have time, so I have no way of working. It's not too late. I'm sure she wonders why your relationship is strained. But she isn't aware that she did it to herself. Calmly tell her and then walk out. This sucks. I'm feeling this right now. I just got cheated on this year, and I have been having some bad heartaches. I wasn't as strong as your dad though. He gets a medal for being so peaceful and strong till the end. I still love her and miss her. I'm so sorry. I hope you can let her go someday and be treated right. You as well. Thanks for sharing your parents' story. I understand completely. I'm sorry you're going through this, and I'm sorry that your dad was put through it. Thank you. I can't think of a worse thing you can put someone through. It's unforgivable. I don't know how my dad lived with this pain for so long. First, I am so sorry that you could not find closure with your dad on this subject. Second, I would let my mom know exactly what you said here. That your dad never had any unkind words to say about her, but that she did so plenty, enough for both of them. Tell her that now you know and vindicate your dad. Yeah, the cheating thing is bad enough, but to badmouth a man like this and do it to his kids is completely unforgivable in my position. I would not hate, but cut all contact. I would never speak with her again. I would tell her one time why and then block her on all forms of communication. And if she tried to get other family involved, I would tell them one time why and then say, if you mention it again, I'm blocking you as well. I don't understand this shit and how immediate families can do this type of shit. I was lucky enough to grow up with parents who were always there for me and in my corner. If it had been different or they pulled some shit like this, I wouldn't be involved with them or have them in my life anymore. It's sad that I have friends that are more reliable and stand up than some of the people I see posting about family on here. Sorry for your loss, Op. I don't understand it either, and I don't want to. People who do these kinds of things are cruel and I want no part in it. I could never hurt someone like this. I just hate her. Once you leave that house in the years to come, make sure your mother knows the truth and that she has lost you for good over her own selfish reasons. She is responsible for your father's torment and she deserves to live with the consequences of her decisions. I have been out of their house since I was 17 years, but I never want to see them again. I lose my breath thinking about having to speak to them after learning this. Wow. Apologies. I didn't infer that. You've already done the hard part. Never reconnect with your mother until she suffers from this decision. She will try to reach out to you. It's okay, I knew what you meant. I may send her a letter someday, when I have the ability to think of what to say. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are.